Let me ask you a question most people are too uncomfortable to answer. Why do so many women say something changes after 35, but can't explain what? Not their love, not their loyalty, not their values. Something deeper, something they were never warned about. Some describe it as restlessness, others as a craving they never had before. Some feel confused, even ashamed, because their bodies are responding in ways their younger selves never imagined. And the most disturbing part? Almost no one is talking about why. Doctors dismiss it. Society jokes about it. Relationships quietly break under the pressure of misunderstanding. But this is not a phase, and it's not imagination. It's biology. Hidden, powerful, and silently reshaping desire in millions of women right now. By the end of this video, you're going to understand something most people never do in their entire lives. Why desire doesn't disappear after 35. Why it transforms. And why ignoring this truth destroys connection. Not because of infidelity or lack of love, but because of unspoken confusion. Here's what makes this uncomfortable. Women are taught that desire should soften with age, that intensity should fade, that wanting more means something is wrong. But what if the opposite is true? What if the female body, after decades of emotional labor, stress, responsibility, and restraint, starts asking for stronger signals just to feel present again? What if this isn't rebellion, but adaptation? Because after 35, the body begins a quiet chemical shift. Not loudly, not dramatically, but enough to change how sensation is processed, how attraction is triggered, how intimacy is experienced. A hormone most people associate with men begins to matter more in women. And when that happens, desire stops being fantasy-driven and becomes nervous system-driven. Gentle no longer reaches the brain the same way. Subtle doesn't cut through stress anymore. The body needs clarity, presence, intensity. Not because it's reckless, but because it's efficient. This is where most relationships get confused. Partners think, she's changing, she's unhappy, she wants something extreme. Women think, what's wrong with me? Why do I need more now? Why didn't anyone warn me about this? And silence fills the gap. But silence doesn't stop biology. It just let misunderstanding grow. In this video, we're going to break the silence. We're going to expose the hidden hormone that rewires desire after 35. How stress and responsibility reshape the nervous system. Why intensity feels different now, not wrong, not dangerous, just different. And how understanding this truth can save relationships instead of destroying them. This is not explicit. This is not fantasy. This is science, psychology, and lived reality. And if you've ever felt something change in your body that you couldn't explain, if you've ever felt more alive through intensity than softness, if you've ever wondered why desire doesn't behave the way society promised it would, then you need to watch this video to the very end. Because once you understand what's really happening inside the body, you can never unsee it. Let's begin. Something strange happens to many women after the age of 35. Not overnight, not suddenly, but quietly, silently, almost invisibly. One day, a woman wakes up and realizes something about herself has changed. Not her love, not her morals, not her values, her desire. The things that once felt intense now feel dull. The things that once felt too much now feel necessary. And sensations she never imagined wanting suddenly feel right. She doesn't talk about it. She doesn't Google it. She definitely doesn't tell her friends. Instead, she asks herself, why do I want more? Why does intensity feel different now? Why does my body respond to things my mind never planned for? Most people blame boredom. Some blame marriage. Others blame midlife crisis. But the truth is far more unsettling. Because this change doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts in the bloodstream. And today, we are exposing the hidden hormone that quietly rewires female desire after 35, how it works, why no one warns women about it, and how it changes attraction, intensity, and emotional needs in ways most relationships are completely unprepared for. Stay with me until the end, because once you understand this, you will never see female desire the same way again. Hi, I am Dr. Dixon. You are welcome back at InfoHub today. If it's your first time coming across our channel, please hit that red subscribe button to stay tuned. Now let's dive back in. For decades, society pushed a simple story. Women peak in desire when they're young. Desire fades with age. Hormones calm down. Passion disappears. That story is biologically false. What actually happens is more complex and more dangerous to ignore. Female desire does not disappear after 35. It changes form. Instead of being driven by fantasy, it becomes driven by sensation. Instead of novelty, it seeks depth, intensity, and control. And instead of being emotional first, it becomes neurochemical first. This shift has a name, and it's driven by a hormone almost no one talks about in women. The hidden hormone, testosterone. Yes, testosterone. Most people think testosterone is a male hormone. That belief has caused decades of confusion. Women produce testosterone too, in the ovaries and adrenal glands. And while estrogen declines steadily after the early 30s, testosterone declines much more slowly. That means something critical happens after 35. The ratio changes, not because testosterone spikes, but because estrogen drops faster. This creates a relative dominance of testosterone in the female hormonal system. And testosterone does not care about romance. Testosterone cares about sensation, pressure, intensity, physical dominance, direct stimulation. This is not about morality. This is about biology. When testosterone becomes more influential, desire becomes more physical. Sensory thresholds increase. The nervous system craves stronger input. What once felt overwhelming now feels underwhelming. So the body asks for more. Why intensity feels different after? The female nervous system changes with age. Pain and pleasure are processed through the same neural pathways. As estrogen declines, pain tolerance often increases. Emotional filtering decreases. Sensory integration becomes sharper. This is why some women report wanting firmer touch, needing stronger stimulation, feeling numb without intensity. This isn't about roughness. It's about nervous system activation. Intensity wakes the brain. Pressure anchors attention. Strong sensation cuts through mental noise. For women under chronic stress, parenting, work, emotional labor, intensity becomes the fastest path to presence. The role of dopamine and novelty. After 35, dopamine sensitivity changes. Dopamine is the hormone of motivation, anticipation, reward. Repeated patterns stop triggering dopamine release. This is why routine kills desire. Predictability feels deadening. Emotional safety alone is not enough. The brain starts craving contrast. Contrast creates dopamine. Intensity creates contrast. And contrast makes the body feel alive again. Why many relationships struggle at this stage? Most partners don't understand what's happening. They think she's changing. She's dissatisfied. She wants something else. But often, she wants the same partner, just with a different energy. More presence, more confidence, more grounded physicality. When this isn't addressed, desire turns into frustration. Frustration turns into guilt. Guilt turns into emotional withdrawal. Silence becomes the enemy. Oxytocin, trust, and control. Oxytocin increases with emotional safety. Ironically, safety allows the nervous system to explore intensity. This is why trust matters more after 35, not less. Intensity without safety feels threatening. Intensity with safety feels freeing. This is not contradiction. This is neurobiology. What women are afraid to say out loud. Many women don't talk about this shift because they fear judgment. They fear being labeled too much, changed, unladylike. So they stay silent, and silence creates shame. But biology does not respond to shame. It responds to understanding. What this means for health and self-awareness. Understanding hormones is not about acting blindly. It's about self-awareness, communication, consent, emotional intelligence. Desire is information, not a command. When understood, it strengthens relationships. When ignored, it erodes them. If this video made you uncomfortable, that means it touched something real. If it made you feel seen, that means you're not alone. And if it answered questions you were too afraid to ask, then this conversation matters. The adrenal factor. Why stress makes desire stronger, not weaker. Here's something most people don't expect. For many women after 35, stress does not kill desire. It reshapes it. By this age, the ovaries are no longer the primary hormone drivers. The adrenal glands take over much of the hormonal workload. And the adrenal glands don't specialize in softness. They specialize in survival. They produce cortisol, adrenaline, androgens, including testosterone. This changes how desire is experienced. Under chronic stress, the female body learns one thing very well. How do I feel something when everything feels overwhelming? And intensity becomes the shortcut. Not because it's reckless, but because it's efficient. Strong sensation temporarily silences anxiety. It pulls the mind out of rumination. It creates a moment where the body feels in control instead of burdened. This is why desire after 35 is often less about fantasy and more about physical immediacy. Why emotional labor changes the body. By midlife, many women are carrying invisible weight, managing households, parenting, emotional regulation for others, work pressure, social expectations. This constant emotional labor trains the nervous system to stay on, always alert, always responsible, always contained. Desire shifts because the body craves the opposite state, a state where responsibility disappears, thinking stops, control is simplified. This is not about submission, it's about relief. Intensity provides relief because it narrows attention, it shuts down mental noise, it forces presence. That's why gentle stimulation sometimes feels insufficient. The mind doesn't stay quiet. The body doesn't surrender. The system needs a stronger signal. The myth of good women don't change. Society teaches women that growth should look like calmness, softness, reduction. But biology doesn't follow social rules. Hormones don't care about reputation. Neurons don't care about labels. When desire evolves, many women feel guilt. Not because something is wrong, but because no one prepared them. They think, why wasn't I like this before? Why do I need more now? Does this mean something is broken? Nothing is broken. This is adaptation. The body adapting to lower estrogen, higher androgen influence, different dopamine thresholds, a mature nervous system. Change is not corruption, it's recalibration. Why fantasy shifts from imagination to sensation. Younger desire is imaginative, older desire is embodied. This is one of the most misunderstood transitions. In early adulthood, desire lives in anticipation, idealization, mental scenarios. After 35, desire moves into muscles, skin, breath, nervous system feedback. This is why many women say, I don't fantasize like I used to, but when I feel something, I feel it deeply. The body becomes the fantasy, and intensity becomes the language. The role of confidence and attraction. Attraction after 35 is less about appearance and more about energy. The nervous system responds to grounded presence, calm confidence, decisiveness, emotional containment. When partners hesitate, overthink, or withdraw, desire doesn't disappear. It redirects inward or shuts down. Intensity isn't about aggression. It's about certainty. The certainty that someone is present. The certainty that someone can hold space. The certainty that someone is not afraid of depth. Why this conversation makes people uncomfortable? Because it challenges comforting myths. It forces people to accept that desire doesn't age politely. Hormones don't ask permission. Love and biology are separate systems. And most importantly, women are not static beings. They are biological processes in motion. Ignoring that truth doesn't preserve relationships. It slowly suffocates them. The danger of silence. When this shift is not discussed, women feel isolated. Partners feel rejected. Misunderstanding grows. Silence creates stories, and stories become resentment. Understanding dismantles fear. This is why education matters. Not to push behavior, but to replace confusion with clarity. What awareness actually looks like. Awareness does not mean acting on every urge. It means recognizing desire is data, sensation is communication, change is information. Healthy relationships don't ignore biology. They integrate it consciously. If you have watched this far, you already know this isn't just about hormones. It's about understanding the body without shame, listening without fear, and allowing growth without judgment. Why the body starts seeking stronger signals. By the mid-30s, the body has experienced years of repetition. Same routines, same emotional patterns, same sensory inputs. The nervous system adapts. What once created excitement now barely registers. This is not boredom, it's habituation. The brain is designed to conserve energy, so it stops responding to weak signals. To feel the same level of aliveness, the system needs stronger input. This applies to touch, emotion, connection, sensation. Intensity isn't about excess, it's about thresholds. and thresholds rise with age and experience. The role of progesterone decline. Another hormone quietly changes the equation after 35. Progesterone. Progesterone is the hormone of calm, emotional buffering, softening responses. As progesterone declines, emotional filters weaken, sensations feel sharper, reactions become more immediate. This doesn't make women unstable, it makes them more honest at the nervous system level. The body stops cushioning experience. What you feel fully. This is why subtle stimulation sometimes feels flat, and why stronger sensation feels grounding. Why control becomes a central theme. There's a paradox many people miss. The more responsibility a woman carries in daily life, the more her nervous system craves simplified control. Not chaos, not unpredictability, but clear roles and clear signals. Control, when understood correctly, is not about power over someone. It's about reducing mental load. Clear direction quiets the brain. Certainty calms the nervous system. Presence reduces anxiety. This is why vague energy kills desire, and grounded confidence fuels it. The difference between intensity and aggression. This distinction matters. Aggression is chaotic. Intensity is focused. Aggression creates fear. Intensity creates presence. The body does not crave harm. It craves clarity. When intensity is safe, consensual, and grounded, it becomes regulating rather than overwhelming. This is why understanding matters. Without understanding, people confuse signals. With understanding, they respond appropriately. Why many women feel more themselves after 35. Here's the part few talk about openly. Many women report feeling more authentic after this shift. Less concerned with appearances, less invested in pleasing, more connected to physical truth. This is not regression, it's integration. The nervous system stops performing and starts responding honestly. Desire becomes less about validation and more about embodied experience. The neurology of trust and depth. Trust becomes non-negotiable after 35. Not emotional trust alone, but nervous system trust. The body must believe it is safe, it is seen, it is not being judged. Only then does it allow deeper sensation. This is why shallow connections stop working, and depth becomes essential. Why this change is often misinterpreted. Partners misread the signals. They think she's unsatisfied with me. She's becoming someone else. She wants something extreme. Often, none of that is true. What's changing is how the body processes stimulation. The desire isn't for difference, it's for alignment. When this shift is ignored, ignoring biological shifts doesn't freeze time. It creates frustration, emotional distance, internal conflict. The body keeps signaling, the mind keeps suppressing, and tension builds. Understanding releases pressure, silence amplifies it. The role of communication. The most powerful tool at this stage isn't technique. It's language. Being able to say, I feel different. My body responds differently now. This isn't rejection, it's change. These conversations don't weaken relationships. They save them. Why education changes everything. Once women understand what's happening, shame loses its grip. Once partners understand biology, fear dissolves. Education doesn't push behavior. It restores choice, and choice restores connection. The bigger picture. This conversation is not just about desire. It's about aging honestly, respecting biology, releasing outdated myths, building relationships that evolve. Bodies change, nervous systems adapt, desire transforms. That's not failure, that's life. If this video challenged you, that's because it touched something real. If it made you reflect, that's because understanding is uncomfortable before it's freeing. And if it helped you feel less confused about changes you couldn't explain, then this message matters. Why age does not reduce desire, it refines it. One of the biggest misunderstandings about aging is the belief that desire fades. In reality, desire doesn't disappear. It becomes selective. The nervous system stops responding to guesswork, inconsistency, emotional confusion. It starts responding to clarity, presence, intention. This is why many women after 35 say, I don't want more experiences. I want better ones. The bar rises. The tolerance for mediocrity drops. Not because standards are unrealistic, but because the body no longer lies to itself. The brain's filter system after 35. As the brain matures, it becomes more efficient. This includes faster pattern recognition, lower tolerance for ambiguity, reduced patience for emotional noise. The prefrontal cortex has learned enough to stop pretending. So when stimulation is weak, unclear, or disconnected, the brain disengages quickly. Intensity isn't about excess. It's about cutting through filters. A strong signal reaches awareness. A weak one gets ignored. Why some women feel awake for the first time. Here's a quiet truth many women don't admit publicly. Some feel more alive in their bodies after 35 than they ever did before. Not because life is easier, but because awareness is sharper. They stop dissociating. They stop performing. They stop apologizing for sensation. This awakening isn't reckless. It's integrated. The mind and body finally start listening to each other. The role of self-trust. Self-trust changes everything. When younger, desire often seeks approval. After 35, it seeks truth. The nervous system asks, does this feel real? Does this feel grounding? Does this feel aligned? If the answer is no, desire shuts down. If the answer is yes, it deepens. This is why superficial connection loses power, and authenticity becomes magnetic. Why this shift can feel confusing at first. No one teaches women to expect this change. So when it happens, many feel disoriented. They think, I used to want different things. I used to respond differently. Why doesn't that work anymore? Because the body updated its operating system, and no one gave you the manual. This video is that manual. The difference between wanting and needing. After 35, desire becomes less impulsive, but more necessary. Not desperate, not uncontrolled. Necessary in the sense that the nervous system recognizes, this regulates me. This grounds me. This brings me back into my body. The desire is not louder, it's clearer. How culture misreads female desire. Culture loves simple stories. Women are either innocent or excessive. But biology doesn't fit into stereotypes. Desire after 35 isn't rebellion, it's adaptation. When culture refuses to acknowledge that, women internalize shame, and shame disconnects them from their bodies. Education restores dignity. Why shame is a physiological problem. Shame isn't just emotional. It changes breathing, muscle tension, hormone release, nervous system response. Shame tightens the body. Tension blocks sensation. Blocked sensation creates frustration. Understanding loosens that grip. This is why information is not neutral, it's healing. What healthy integration looks like. Healthy integration means awareness without judgment, communication without pressure, choice without fear. It means recognizing you are not your impulses, but you shouldn't ignore your signals. The body speaks for a reason. Why this topic is often silenced. Because it forces uncomfortable truths, that aging is complex, that desire evolves, that women don't exist for convenience. Silence protects myths. Conversation protects people. What this means for long-term connection. Long-term relationships don't fail because desire changes. They fail because people expect it not to. Growth requires adjustment. Adjustment requires honesty. Honesty requires safety. When these exist, desire doesn't disappear. It transforms into depth. The final reframe. This isn't about wanting more. It's about wanting what works now. Your nervous system at 20 is not your nervous system at 40, and that's not loss. That's evolution. If this video helped you put words to feelings you couldn't explain, then you're already doing something powerful. You're listening to your body without fear. You're replacing shame with understanding, and you're choosing awareness over silence. The body's memory and why experience matters more with age. By the time a woman reaches her mid-30s and beyond, her body has a memory. Not memories like photographs, but neurological memory. The nervous system remembers what felt safe, what felt overwhelming, what felt grounding, what felt empty. This memory reshapes desire. The body no longer experiments randomly. It remembers what worked. And because of that, desire becomes more precise, not broader, deeper. This is why vague stimulation feels unsatisfying. The body already knows what it's looking for. Why trying harder doesn't work anymore. One of the biggest mistakes people make at this stage is trying to fix desire with effort. More talking, more planning, more performance. But desire after 35 doesn't respond to effort. It responds to presence. The nervous system can tell the difference instantly. Trying harder often creates pressure. Pressure shuts the body down. Presence opens it. This is why authenticity matters more than intensity alone. The role of the vagus nerve in desire. Here's something rarely discussed. The vagus nerve, the main nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system, plays a huge role in how desire is experienced later in life. When the vagus nerve is stimulated, the body relaxes, sensation deepens, awareness sharpens, but chronic stress weakens vagal tone. This is why stronger sensory input sometimes feels necessary. It activates the system enough to override background stress. This is not dysfunction, it's compensation. Why some women feel disconnected without intensity. Many women describe a strange feeling. I feel distant from my body unless something really wakes me up. This isn't emotional numbness, it's sensory understimulation. Modern life keeps the mind busy but the body underengaged. Intensity pulls awareness back into the body. It's not about escape, it's about returning. The difference between fantasy and regulation. Earlier in life, fantasy drives desire. Later, regulation does. The nervous system asks, what brings me back to baseline? What helps me feel grounded? What quiets the noise? Desire becomes less theatrical and more functional in the healthiest way. Not shallow, not mechanical, purposeful. Why many women stop apologizing for their desire. Something powerful happens after years of self-observation. Women stop explaining themselves. They stop negotiating with discomfort. They stop shrinking to be palatable. Not out of rebellion, but out of self-clarity. The body has spoken clearly enough times that ignoring it no longer feels possible. How this shift affects emotional connection. Contrary to popular belief, this change does not reduce emotional connection. It often deepens it. When the body feels met, the heart opens more easily. When sensation feels grounding, vulnerability feels safer. This is why relationships that adapt often become stronger than ever. Why midlife desire is mislabeled as a crisis. We call it a crisis because it disrupts expectations. But biologically, it's a transition, a recalibration, a refinement, a return to bodily truth. Calling it a crisis avoids responsibility. Understanding it invites growth. What listening to the body actually means. Listening doesn't mean obeying blindly. It means noticing patterns, observing responses, respecting signals. The body isn't demanding extremes, it's asking for alignment. When alignment happens, desire feels natural, not overwhelming. Why this knowledge is empowering, not dangerous. Some fear that understanding desire will unleash chaos. The opposite is true. Ignorance creates confusion. Understanding creates boundaries. When people understand their bodies, they make better choices, not riskier ones. Knowledge brings agency. The role of acceptance in long-term well-being. Acceptance reduces internal conflict. When women stop fighting their biology, stress decreases, self-trust increases, relationships stabilize. This isn't indulgence, it's mental health. Why this topic resonates so deeply? Because so many people felt something change and never had language for it. Unspoken experiences isolate people. Shared understanding reconnects them. That's why this video matters. The quiet truth, most people learn too late. The body always knew. It was waiting for permission to be understood instead of judged. If this video gave you clarity where there was confusion or relief where there was shame, then it served its purpose. The hormonal crossfade after 35. After 35, the female body doesn't shut hormones off. It crossfades them. Estrogen slowly lowers. Progesterone becomes less consistent. Testosterone and adrenal androgens become more noticeable in effect. This isn't a takeover, it's a rebalance. The emotional cushioning hormones soften. The activating hormones become clearer. This is why sensations feel more direct. Why emotional tolerance for pretense drops. Why desire becomes less imaginative and more physical and immediate. The body isn't escalating, it's clarifying. Why the body stops responding to mixed signals. Earlier in life, the nervous system can tolerate contradiction. Affection without presence, words without follow-through, attention without intention. Later in life, it cannot. The mature nervous system detects inconsistency quickly, and inconsistency shuts desire down. This is why many women after 35 say, I don't respond to confusion anymore. Clarity becomes the strongest stimulant. How safety and intensity coexist. This is one of the most misunderstood points. People assume safety means softness, and intensity means danger. But biologically, safety is what allows intensity. When the nervous system feels secure, muscles relax, sensation deepens, awareness expands. Without safety, intensity overwhelms. With safety, it regulates. This is why trust becomes non-negotiable at this stage. Why some women withdraw before they understand what's happening. Before understanding arrives, confusion often comes first. Many women withdraw, not because desire is gone, but because what used to work no longer does. They think, something is wrong with me. I'm losing interest. I've changed in a bad way? In reality, the body is asking for something different, not less connection, but more alignment. Withdrawal is often a pause, not an ending. The cost of misinterpreting this shift. When this change is misunderstood, partners feel rejected. Women feel misunderstood. Silence grows. Over time, silence turns into emotional distance. Not because love is gone, but because translation never happened. This is why education matters more than assumptions. Why this is not about needing more. This shift is often misframed as excess. But it's not about wanting more stimulation. It's about wanting effective stimulation. The nervous system is efficient. It doesn't waste energy on weak signals. It wants what works. The biology of presence. Presence is not emotional effort. It's physiological. A present person breathes slowly, moves deliberately, feels grounded. The nervous system responds to this instantly. After 35, presence becomes more attractive than charm, more regulating than romance, more powerful than novelty. Why desire becomes less negotiable. Younger desire compromises easily. Older desire does not. Not out of selfishness, but out of self-respect. The body has learned what it costs to ignore itself, so it stops pretending. How long-term partners can adapt. Adaptation doesn't mean changing personality. It means listening differently, being present more consistently, letting go of outdated assumptions. Small shifts in awareness often produce big changes in connection. Why this conversation is actually about health. Unexpressed desire creates tension. Tension affects sleep. Sleep affects hormones. Hormones affect mood and immunity. This isn't just emotional, it's physical health. Understanding the body reduces stress, and stress reduction is medicine. The quiet relief that comes with understanding. Many women describe a deep relief when they learn this. Not excitement, relief. The relief of knowing I'm not broken. My body makes sense? I don't need to be ashamed of change. That relief alone can restore connection. Why honest conversations often come late. People wait too long to talk about change. They wait until frustration builds, until distance forms, until misunderstanding hardens. But biology doesn't wait. Early understanding prevents late regret. What this means moving forward. Aging doesn't mean diminishing. It means refining. Desire becomes clearer. Boundaries become firmer. Connection becomes deeper. When people grow together, this stage can be the most grounded of all. If this video helped you understand changes you couldn't explain, or gave language to experiences you kept silent, then it did what it was meant to do. The role of life experience in desire after 35. By midlife, experience becomes a filter. The body has learned what drains energy, what creates stress, what brings relief, what feels grounding. Desire stops being theoretical. It becomes evidence-based. This is why the body responds more strongly to what has proven effective in the past, and disengages from what hasn't. It's not stubbornness, it's efficiency. Why emotional maturity changes physical response. Emotional maturity alters nervous system responses. When emotions are regulated, the body feels safer. Sensation travels deeper. Awareness expands. After 35, many women are better at recognizing emotional patterns. This reduces internal conflict. Less conflict means the body can feel more fully. Desire isn't louder, it's cleaner. The science of arousal versus overstimulation. There's an important distinction here. Arousal activates, overstimulation overwhelms. As estrogen declines, sensory thresholds change. The body needs clearer signals, not chaotic ones. This is why focused intensity can feel regulating, while scattered stimulation feels exhausting. The difference is intention. Why predictability loses power. Predictability once felt safe. Later, it can feel invisible. The mature nervous system doesn't need surprises. It needs presence. When everything is predictable but absent, the body disengages. When something is familiar but fully present, desire can return. The biological need for embodiment. Modern life pulls people into their heads. Emails, schedules, responsibilities. After 35, the cost of disembodiment becomes obvious. Fatigue, irritability, emotional distance. The body seeks experiences that restore embodiment, bringing attention back to breath, muscle, and sensation. This is not indulgence, it's regulation. Why this shift can improve mental health. When the body feels regulated, Anxiety decreases. Sleep improves. Mood stabilizes. Ignoring bodily signals creates tension. Understanding them releases it. This is why many women report better emotional balance once they stop fighting their changing responses. How partners often misread silence. Silence is often misread as loss of interest. But frequently, it's processing. The body is recalibrating. The nervous system is learning new thresholds. Without language, silence becomes confusing. With education, it becomes temporary. The importance of patience during transition. Transitions don't follow schedules. Hormones shift unevenly. Emotions fluctuate. Responses change. Patience doesn't mean passivity. It means curiosity without pressure. Pressure accelerates shutdown. Curiosity invites adaptation. Why desire becomes more honest. After years of lived experience, the body stops exaggerating. It doesn't pretend interest. It doesn't perform enthusiasm. What's present is real. What's absent is clear. This honesty can feel confronting, but it's also liberating. The role of self-respect in attraction. Self-respect is felt, not declared. The nervous system recognizes it in boundaries, pace, consistency. After 35, attraction is often rooted in how safe the body feels, not how impressive something looks. Why this knowledge reduces conflict. Understanding removes personal blame. Instead of, "What's wrong with you?" the question becomes, "What changed in the body?" This shift alone dissolves many arguments. Biology explains what judgment never could. The cost of ignoring biological reality. Ignoring change doesn't preserve comfort. It accumulates stress. Stress shows up as irritability, withdrawal, emotional distance. Acknowledging reality is not pessimistic. It's preventive care. Why midlife can be the most grounded phase. When adaptation happens, this phase becomes deeply stable. Less drama. More clarity, deeper presence. The nervous system stops chasing and starts inhabiting. The core message revisited. Nothing here is about excess. It's about alignment, understanding, integration. Bodies evolve, desire adapts, awareness brings peace. We are going to round up this topic from here. Because if we continue diving in deeper, this video is going to be very long. So if this video helped you understand changes that once felt confusing, or gave you language for experiences you couldn't explain, then it served its purpose. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at InfoHub Today to stay tuned for more health tips. You can also check InfoHub Today verified store from the link beneath this video. Thanks for watching, and always stay safe.